you can see that everything inside the green dotted line is on the sort of computer that you've got.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Icecast server or the Shoutcast server can be on a completely different machine,
Yes.
or it can be on the same machine that you're running Airtime on, so inside the green box.
That's what I'd like to do.
Yeah. So if you type localhost into the settings box for the Airtime settings for Icecast, or stream settings, what you're basically saying is Icecast is running on the same machine. It's within the green box as Airtime. And normally you wouldn't do that in a production situation, because you would have maybe like the Airtime server at your studio, and you might have the Icecast server somewhere completely different, like your ISP's data center, or somewhere where there's lots of bandwidth available, because potentially that could have like thousands of people connecting to it.
Yeah.
And if it was running just on your laptop, you would soon saturate the bandwidth available.
Mm-hmm.
So for that reason, we enable people to put in a different domain name or an IP address for that remote Icecast server. But because a lot of people don't have that when they first install Airtime, we give them the option to use a local Icecast server, so that they can have something working out of the box. So if I go and get my local Airtime server up and running.
So I tried it first with my IP and then my host name.
Yep.
I've gone back with the with the Nano, etc., Icecast 2, Icecast XML, change
Yeah.
into Icecast settings, and then I went and I tried it with localhost.
Yep.
Email I sent you this morning, and then I did the test Icecast to start, but then I didn't get the
Okay.
detaching from the console response, which I so
Right.
I back and change it so that it's got the right.
So that makes me wonder. I'm just going to try and see if I can do this. Can you see my Airtime now?
Not yet.
Okay, hang on. We do that screen share thing again. Actually, I'm going to put the my Airtime server into a different browser window, so that I can screen share it without flicking back to Google Hangouts, because this is going to be silly. Screen share. There we go. Right, you should be able to see that now, yeah?
Yeah. Oh,
Can you see my Airtime window now?
Yeah.
Yes.
After I tried installing Icecast, I then went on to installing Airtime, so maybe I should go back to that.
Possibly, yeah. Here you can see I'm using like office.64studio.com in the server box, which is the domain name of the machine with the Icecast server. And my actual Airtime machine is airtime.64studio.com, which you can see up in the top there. What I would suggest you do is first confirm that your Icecast is okay, your locally installed Icecast server.
Yeah, I think this is the problem.
Yeah, so let's take a look at that.
I mean, it was late last night when I tried it, so I'm sure I could search around on the internet. And I thought, I will wait for the morning and ask them.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and undo that screen share, and now I'm going to try and share a terminal. Okay, so first thing I would do to check if Icecast is okay is you can do sudo service Icecast 2, I think it is. Possibly, yeah, Icecast 2 status. Okay. Okay, it doesn't have a status option. Okay.
I have exactly this code.
Okay, that seems to be all right. So that's pretty much what you should see if you try and restart Icecast. Do you get that?
Oh, the first two I do, and then the second one, I just get stopping Icecast 2, Icecast 2.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Oh, wait, let me start again. Yay, it worked.
Okay,
I don't
so
know what the problem was. Anyway.
so what I would recommend next step is to go in your browser to this one. Okay, so go to localhost, port 8000. Yeah, so you just use the colon to separate the host name and the port number, and then see what comes back. You should get a page that looks like this.
Oh, but I don't have. I just have administration server state first inversion. I don't have.
Okay, so this part up here shows that the server is running. Okay, by default, you see the server status page, and this is a mount point which shows that Airtime has actually connected to Icecast. Yeah. And if we had multiple mount points connected, you would see like several grey blocks, each with the details of each mount point that was connected. So that suggests to me that your Icecast server is running, but Airtime hasn't been able to connect to it yet.
Yeah, I think I wrote the wrong. I put in my host name and not my IP address for when I set up Airtime. I think that's a problem.
Possibly, but all you can, it's easily fixed. If you go to your Airtime stream settings page, where it says server required, just pop localhost into that box.
Hang on, how do I get there? What do I...
Sorry, are you in the Airtime admin interface?
No.
Okay, so go to localhost. Let me log out so it show you what it looks like.
The Google logo is over your address bar.
Okay, so when you go to localhost, you see this. You see like the Airtime logo in the login box.
Oh yeah, yes I do.
Okay, so when you install Airtime, do you remember the username was admin? And it asked you for a password for your admin?
Yeah.
I'm sorry there's no Welsh setting yet. But we can work on that.
It's coming. Yay, okay.
So are you in? Okay. So on the system menu, when you go to the streams page, on the right-hand side, you've got output stream settings.
Oh, hang on again. Where do I find the stream settings?
Yeah, it's on the system menu. It's just streams.
Oh. Oh, it says problem with liquid soap.
Problem with what, sorry?
Liquid soap.
Oh, okay.
Do I need to separately install that?
It should have been installed automatically.
Oh, okay.
Did you install from the Debian package, the Deb?
Yeah, I think so. I did the automated install and I just followed exactly the...
Oh, okay. So you did easy setup?
No,
Yes.
I did
Okay.
automated installation.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So it sounds like there is a bit of a problem on your machine, but let's see what we can do with this first of all. If you're on the streams page, um, it shouldn't be saying problem with liquid soap, but let's see if what have you got in the server box? Look over here.
Oh yeah, thank you. Server 127.0.0.1.
Okay, well that is just the IP address of localhost.
Oh, so I need to put my IP in there.
No, that is the sort of shortcut to localhost. That's like a special IP address that just indicates localhost, basically. So that's okay. But are you getting a message up here that says problem with liquid soap?
It says cannot connect to the streaming server, problem with liquid soap.
Okay.
And this is the first time I've tried to install Airtime, so I don't think there's any conflicts with any other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the terminal. And so what I want you to do is sudo apt-get install liquid soap.
It says invalid operation liquid soap.
Wow, that's weird. Would you like to share your screen with me?
Oh, I'm using 2 different laptops.
Okay. Okay. That makes it extra interesting.
Oh, yeah. I could take a photograph and text you.
Yeah, all right. Then if you email me the screenshot,
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
we'll take it from there. Yeah, because hopefully if you've done the automated installation, you should have everything that you need there. But it sounds like something's gone wrong during your install.
Hang on, maybe speak to Lucille.
Okay.
It's gone very, very, very slow. I think it may be crashing.
Okay, well, maybe we should come back to that. Yeah. Okay. So, Lucille,
Yep.
how far did you get?
So I'm in my Oracle, and right now I'm looking at the message, install the grub boot loader on a hard disk.
Okay, so you're still installing the server distro.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I haven't done it this way yet.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so I'm not familiar. Am I supposed to say yes or no to this particular grub
I would say
boot
yes.
loader?
Yes, because you need a bootloader. Which distro are you installing? Is it Debian or Ubuntu?
No,
or?
Ubuntu.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you definitely want to have a bootloader because otherwise Ubuntu won't boot. This is kind of a question aimed at people who are having like a sort of more complex installation where they might have other bootloaders installed.
Okay.
But, you know, if it's just like a virtual machine just for Linux, then you won't have. So it's a good idea to have a bootloader. It's just the thing that makes the menu when you switch on the machine that asks you what operating system you want.
Mm-hmm. And then load it quicker. Yeah.
Well, you need something to load the operating system because, like, say for example, you have a Windows machine. It's just hidden behind a graphical startup screen, but it has to have a bootloader. Otherwise, you know, there's nothing to initiate the process of booting the machine. And this is normally installed to the master boot record of the hard disk, which is the thing that the machine boots by default. But it's kind of a pointless question if you're only installing Linux on the machine, really, because you have to have something to boot it with.
Okay, so if everything went right. Ubuntu with Linux. Yep. Dun. Okay, so for the next step for me would be to install a streaming server, right? What you guys just accomplished?
Not necessarily.
Or am
if you install the Airtime Easy Setup package, that will install everything you need, including a copy of Icecast. So you don't have to install it separately. Did you install the server version of Ubuntu?
Yeah, I already actually installed this with NewScoop.
Oh, okay.
So,
I mean, do you have a desktop, or is it just command line only?
Command only, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, because there is a server version which doesn't have any desktop on it, I guess that's the one you've got. So.
Yep. So I won't download the package, or is that what I'm doing next? Because I did download it, but.
Okay. So if you're on a server machine, you don't normally have like a user-friendly tool for automatically installing packages. So I think we should do the proper server installation, which is in the chapter Automated Installation of the manual. Because Easy Setup is more designed for sort of people who have a desktop, and they're not really looking at it in a sort of sysadmin kind of way. They just want to get the quickest, simplest installation that they can.
So, automated file import, or which?
No, it's further down in the installation section, which is
automated.
Actually, it's 2 sections up from where you're looking.
Okay, so yeah, that's where I was. So the repos, yeah.
Yeah. So do you have a console on the server yet?
Yes, I do. So Ubuntu login. So.
Yeah. So you want to log in as a user that has sudo rights, so that you can, change system files. I think the user that you create during Ubuntu installation has sudo rights by default.
Yeah.
So that shouldn't be a problem.
So I'm in. I've got the $sign.
Yep. So if I screen share with you the manual, I'll show you where I'm looking.
Okay. Oh, for the manual, yep. Automated installation.
Yep. So
set up repositories
for Ubuntu. Yep. So like the first thing we do is open the sources list file, which is the one that contains all of the repositories for the machine.
You can install it with the command or the sources list. Yes.
Yeah. So sudo nano etc apt sources.list. Now, which version of Ubuntu did you install? Was it Precise?
Yes, this was a week ago or a few weeks ago, so it should be the latest one.
Well,
and
with Ubuntu,
sorry, Precise or Lucid or Precise?
Okay.
Sorry, I cut you off. What did you?
Yeah, with Ubuntu, the latest version is not necessarily the server version. Because they have this thing called LTS, which is the long-term support releases. And these are the ones that we recommend because they have 5 years of security updates. And the current LTS version is Precise. They have like desktop versions after that, like Quantol and Raring.
Okay.
Let me just check.
Where can I check that for mine? It's not the desktop, but
I think, let me just check the file name. Okay, so I'm just going to screen share my terminal with you.
Yep.
Terminal. Okay, so I've just typed the command cat.
Oh, it's you again.
Yeah. Oh, it's not working. Okay, let me. Okay, got it now? Yeah. Okay, so I've typed this command here, cat, which just means, read the file, and then etc/lsb-release. And this is just a little file that tells you what version you're running. And it's really handy because we often use it in automated installations for checking which version are we actually on. So you can see this one, mine says codename precise, and it says the number is 12.04.2 LTS, so that I know that we're on the server version, the LTS version.
My permission was denied. Did I?
Okay, did you use sudo, maybe? You shouldn't need it, but... Like,
Didn't do it. I'll try it with. Okay, yep. Alors, Ubuntu 12.04.2 LTS.
Okay, so we're on the same version. So that's good.
Yep.
This is, like I said, this is the version we would recommend. The 12 stands for 2012. The 04 stands for April. And the 0.2 means that it's the second security update. Because with the LTS releases being updated for 5 years, they do periodically release a new minor version that we like to keep track of for all our security updates. So let me just close that. Now, we can go back to the manual. So.
Well, okay. So, put in the command.
So now we know that we're on precise. It's the version. We can edit our sources.list file.
Right. Okay, so I'm in.
Yeah. Yep. So scroll down to the bottom. Do you have any Sourcefabric lines in that file already?
No, I do not.
Okay. Because yeah, you don't need to add it twice if it was already there. So I just make yourself a new line, like this one. So it starts with, like all the lines above, is deb, is the first word, and then the address of the server with the @ repository. In our case is http://apt for apt.sourcefabric.org/ and then there's a space, and you put the name of the distro, which in your case is precise.
Oh, could you just repeat that for me?
Yeah, sure. Can you see the page of the manual that I'm looking at?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got this bit down here that, like, you can see in the screenshot all these different lines that refer to different software repositories. So it always starts with deb for a binary repository, and then there's a space. Then it's the address of the apt server, which in our case is apt.sourcefabric.org.
If I was doing that from my own server, what would I write? If I was doing it from my own laptop, would I put my IP instead of source?
No. For this is not for your Airtime server. This is the Sourcefabric official package repository where you would get all of your downloads from.
Oh wait, I've caught on to what's happening now.
Okay, so it may be that if you've used the Easy Setup package, you already have this.
No, I remember doing this.
Okay.
I thought you were talking about something else. My ears picked up halfway.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, after the name of the repository, you have the name of the distribution, which in Lucille's case is Precise.
Just Precise? Okay.
Yeah. And then
Precise.
yeah, I mean, like in the manual it says Lucid, but that's the earlier version.
Okay.
And it says substitute Precise in place of Lucid. So, and then the final part, you do another space, and the final part is the sort of category within the repository
Right.
that we're downloading from. And in the case of apt.sourcefabric.org, there's only one, which is main.
Okay.
Okay, so your whole line should read deb space http://apt.sourcefabric.org/ space precise space main.
Yep. Beautiful colors.
Okay,
Very nice.
so you got that?
Yep.
So then just save the file, which in Nano is Control and O.
Okay. File name to write. Source.list.
Yep.
Do I just click enter?
Just hit enter here.
Error writing. Permission denied.
Oh, okay. So I think you need to use sudo when you're editing.
So again, Control O.
Yeah, well, it won't let you write out the file, so you'll just have to do Control X to exit.
Okay.
Yep.
Answering no will destroy changes. Saved modified buffer.
You just have to click no because it won't save
Okay.
if you don't
So
have the right permissions.
I'm back to my.
Prompt, yeah. Did you use sudo before?
No, I actually just had forgotten one little part. I forget which one, but.
Okay, so if you press the up arrow on your keyboard,
Yep.
it should show you the previous command that you entered.
Yes. Perfect.
Okay, so did you use sudo last time?
No, nano exit.
Okay, so if you just use the back arrow on your keyboard to slide back to the beginning of that command,
Write sudo.
yeah, then you can write sudo at the beginning and hit enter and do it again.
Password.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's
Okay,
try.
so now you should be in the file again. Sorry to say you got to type out the line again.
Okay. So.
It's all good experience.
Yes. Thank you for being so patient.
Yeah. No, I mean, on a Debian server, you don't have sudo. So if you want to do this kind of thing, you normally log in as root. I mean, sudo is available, but most people do it the traditional way, which is you have an account with privileges, root, and you have other accounts which have no privileges. And you have a strict separation between administrators and users.
Right.
Ubuntu blurs that boundary by not having a root user and by making everybody use sudo. But that means that everybody is a potential administrator until they're taken out of the administrators group, the sudoers. So
I must have somewhere put myself into the non-admin category. Is that?
No, because you can use sudo. So that says that you are an administrator, but it's just a different way of handling administrator accounts.
Okay.
So this is if you have to switch between Ubuntu and Debian, this can be a little confusing, but it's you'll soon get the hang of it.
Perfect. So I went to the very last line where I could enter. I entered deb http://apt.sourcefabric.org/space space main.
Yep. Now you should be able to do Control O to write the file.
Right. So I am in Control O, and now do I just press enter?
You should just be able to press Control O. That should do it. It should say let me give you an example. Okay, so when you hit Control O, it should just say file name to write,
Yep.
and then you hit enter. And it should just say wrote, X number of lines.
Yep. Okay.
Yep. So now that's written. So now we can do Control X to exit,
Okay.
and you should be back to your prompt.
Yes.
Okay. So now you've added the repository, but you need to tell the system to fetch information from that repository. So you now do sudo.
Okay.
Highlight this for you. Sudo apt-get update.
Alors, okay, so now we're in the signing keys section.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So sudo apt.
Yeah, apt is got a hyphen after it. So it's apt-get update. Over here.
Okay.
It should.
So I pressed enter. It
Yeah.
said malformed line X, 67 for me, in source
dear.
list.
It doesn't like the modification that you made to the sources list file. Could you screen share with me, and I will take a look at what's going on there. If you screen share your terminal.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it does not like the change that you made. So, okay, I see what's missing. There should be a colon after HTTP.
Ah, as simple as that, eh?
Yeah, it's just the normal way that you would do it in a web browser. So if you press the up arrow and go back to the editing command, which was sudo nano. Yeah, press it again. Just press. Yeah, there you go, and hit enter. Okay, so
Go down.
roll down to the line that you added. Yeah,
Yep.
there it is. Pop that colon in.
Colon after.
HTTP. Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. Oop.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go.
There you go. Okay, so write out the file
Mm,
with Control O. Yep. Control X. Right. So you're already out of the editor. Now press the up arrow again to go back to the apt-get update. Yeah. That's it. And hit enter. Okay, now it's working. So you see one of the lines there is says get apt.sourcefabric.org. It's already near the top of the terminal. It's gone now. So that shows that part is working. And now it says that the following signatures couldn't be verified because the public key is not available. Well, this is exactly what we expect because we've given it a new repository, but we haven't secured that repository. So the next step is in the manual, and it's I'll screen share again so that you can see it. Okay, so you need to install the Sourcefabric keyring, basically, which is our signing key. And this is the thing that servers use to authenticate our packages and check that they really come from us. Because if you say, oh, go and install your Airtime updates from here or there, and we don't secure the server in this way, anybody could potentially put an Airtime package up on a server, and there would be no way of authenticating whether it was really the official one from Sourcefabric or not. So we have a secret signing key that we use, and there's a like an exchange of public keys, and that the packages can be verified against that. So to get that public key from Sourcefabric onto the server that you've just installed, we're going to install the keyring. So the command for that is sudo apt-get install, like for any other package, and then the package name is Sourcefabric-keyring. Can you see that okay?
Keyring. Okay. Yeah, I've got the manual up. as
Yeah.
well.
Okay.
Thanks. Okay.
So,
So, yeah.
yeah, that looks good. So hit enter.
Done.
Okay, it can't be authenticated. Well, this is again what we expect to see, because what it's basically saying is you're asking me to download a secure package, but I have no way of telling whether that package is secure because I haven't installed your keyring yet. So it's like a chicken and egg problem.
Yep.
But because we know that we're getting it from app.sourcefabric.org, we can trust it to a certain degree. So we're going to hit Y, a lowercase y, enter, to install without the verification. And then once this is done, we can verify every package from Sourcefabric after this. So what we say is, in the manual, is that if you want to verify the authenticity of the key, please ask us. Because if you were going to be really secure, you'd work it all the way back up the chain, and you would check the fingerprint of the key, and to make sure you really knew what you were getting. But for most people, this step is adequate. So you now have the repository installed. You have the keyring installed. If you go and press your up arrow a couple of times, and you get back to the apt-get update, okay, and you hit enter.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's opening up.
Okay, so it's going to do it again, but this time, if you see like up near the top, there's a line apps.sourcefabric.org precise. Yeah. See, now we didn't get the security error this time.
Right.
Yeah, because we now have the keyring installed, and we can now download securely from Sourcefabric.
Perfect.
Okay, so this is the kind of way that I would recommend that anybody would set up a production server where they wanted this machine to run securely with security updates for potentially years.
Okay.
So it's a little bit more complicated than the easy install, but it's the best sort of like the most robust solution for long-term installation. Now, if you scroll down a little in the manual, you will see install the database management system. Now, again, like most people will just let me get that. Oh, I can't see the window anymore. Hang on. Oh, I see. Yeah. The screen share will only let me screen share windows that are maximized on the desktop. It won't let me share minimized windows. So I'm learning something. Okay. So yeah, in an easy setup, we basically install everything without asking. So we install the database, we install Icecast, we install like every other package that you need. But for this setup method that I'm talking you through, which would be for a production server, we don't force people to install the database or Icecast because we anticipate that they might be running these programs on separate servers. So if you've got like a very large database, you might have one complete server that's just dedicated as a database server. And we can't possibly know that, the particular installation that people want in their own studio. So when we're going through, like, if you like, this advanced method, we don't force the installation. So the next command is to get the database installed, and you can use your up arrow to go back a couple of commands and just go to the last time you did sudo apt-get install.
Okay.
And then just change the change the end word.
Post.
That's like the lazy way.
Okay, instead of
typing
there's
the
no
whole thing
copy
again.
paste. I mean.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Actually, there is copy and paste, but you might not always have access to it in a remote machine.
Okay.
It depends on the terminal you're using and so on. There is a program that gives you mouse in the console called GPM, and you can select things and paste things with the middle button on the mouse, but that's for another day.
Okay. Next
So yeah,
screencast.
so hit enter there and install the database.
Okay, done building after this operation.
Do you want to continue? Yes. So here it's installing the database package, which is PostgreSQL 9.1, and a few other helper packages that it needs. It's also installing the database client, which we do need because we want to connect to this database on the same machine. So like Airtime, there's a client and server to the database. Now, so we've done that. So, okay, hit your up arrow again and get that command back. And now this time we're going to install Icecast 2.
Icecast
2, yeah. The reason it's called Icecast 2 is that there was an original, so you just hit Y again, yeah. I was going to say there was a previous version of Icecast which nobody uses anymore. Icecast 2 has been like the standard version for many years, but the package is still called Icecast 2. So this is a modification that we made to Icecast, and we had it accepted by Debian and Ubuntu, because in the previous version of Icecast, it did not set up passwords for you automatically. And because of this, it was switched off by default, because it would have been insecure to run it with no passwords. So we made this modification, which is based on the Airtime modifications, and they accepted it. So if you just hit your left arrow key to make that answer yes, yeah, and hit enter. So your host name, well, because this is just a like a virtual server, we can use localhost here. If it was a full production server, it would be something like myicecast.myserver.com or whatever, because the Icecast server needs to know its own host name in order to properly generate reports and things like that. But for now, we can just use localhost. So if you hit the tab key, it will auto-select the OK, and then you can hit enter.
Okay.
Now, as you can see, the default source password is deliberately insecure. The idea is that you would always change this for a production server because it's ridiculously insecure. So if you just use your backspace key to delete hackme, yep, and now come up with something new. Could be anything you want, but make a note because we're going to be using this later. I mean, yeah, I mean in real life you would never use anything with Airtime in it because it's too easy to guess. But this is just for demo purposes, so let's use that. And then you hit the tab key again and OK. Okay, so now this one, the relay password, this is a slightly different thing to the source password. This is for relaying a stream from one machine to another.
Daniel?
Yeah, I'm still there.
Oh, I think... Did you just cut out? No, I think you just cut out for less than a minute.
Okay, so I'm back. I'm back. So yeah, the relay password is also default of hackme, and obviously you want to change that as well. We don't actually use the relay password in Airtime, but it makes sense to secure it if you're going to run an Icecast server.
Okay. So for example,
make it like Airtime 2 or something, whatever you want. Yeah. So just hit the tab key and enter again to go on to the next page. Okay, now this is the most important password. This is the administration password that controls the sort of settings of Icecast through the web interface. And so you should have a good strong password here. Again, in our case, it doesn't have to be super strong for this demo. But as long as you've got a note of it.
Okay, so...
I noticed you used a uppercase A this time.
Yes.
So the password is case sensitive, of course.
Okay. So this is my admin pass. Capital A, return 3.
Yep.
Okay.
So, yeah. Right, so now we're done. That little modification has made Icecast a lot more secure, and also means we can run it by default, which is great.
Okay.
So, it's done.
That was
You now have an Icecast server, yeah.
Perfect.
And you have your database already installed.
Okay.
In the manual, you'll see references to changing the passwords manually by modifying the icecast.xml file. Since we made that modification to the Ubuntu package, which is in Precise and later versions, this step is no longer necessary because you've already done it with the GUI that you just used. But we leave those instructions in the manual in case people are using older versions of Icecast.
Yeah.
It's because that's the way it had to be done in the old days. So you can now do, with your up arrow, go back to sudo apt-get install, and now type Airtime.
Yes. Here we are. All right. Install Airtime. Perfect.
Yeah.
Done. Do you want? Of course.
Yeah. As you can see, Airtime has a lot of dependencies. And you'll notice that as the screen scrolls up, some of them are coming from archive.ubuntu.com, and some of them are coming from apt.sourcefabric.org. Whenever it's a standard package, we always try to get it from the official repository, and we only provide a separate package if it's absolutely necessary. So, for example, we provide Liquid Soap 1.1.1, which is much more up-to-date than the version that Ubuntu provides. Because we're so dependent on Liquid Soap, we like to keep up with the very latest bug fixes. We also provide packages that don't exist in those distributions yet, like libopus, the latest version of that, is in Precise, but it's not in older distributions like Ubuntu Lucid and Debian Squeeze and stuff like that. So it's a mixed. We've got two different repositories working at the same time, but they're coordinated in such a way that it does actually work. You'll also notice that some of the packages are coming from a repository called Precise Updates, and these are packages which have had security fixes since the release of Ubuntu Precise. But the Precise Updates repository is configured for you automatically by Ubuntu to get your security updates. You'll see some other ones that say Precise/Universe. These are packages which Ubuntu includes, but they don't support. So they're basically supported by the Ubuntu community. And we depend on quite a few of those because we've got lots of different requirements. See all kinds of other stuff going past there, like Monit, which is the thing that monitors Airtime processes to make sure that they are still running. And this is when you go onto the status page in Airtime, this is what you're seeing. Basically, you're seeing a report from Monit about whether the playout engine's still running and things like that. But the Airtime puts a sort of a GUI that's sort of integrated with the rest of the features. Otherwise, you'd have to look at a separate place to see the system status.
Okay. So this is going to take another 5 minutes, apparently.
It depends on the speed of your
Oh,
internet
maybe
connection.
Yeah, this
yeah.
has been going pretty quick.
Maybe I can just jump in then.
Yeah, sure.
When
Yeah.
I've gone back and started IceCast, detaching from the console, but then in my address bar in my browser, I've typed hostname :8000.
Yeah.
I'm not getting the same result. I'm just getting.
Okay. Did you use localhost in the browser?
No, that's why.
Okay. So try localhost :8000.
There we go.
Daniel, how long have you been working on these projects?
On Airtime?
Yes,
About 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah, I
Since the
met
beginning.
Doug in 2007 at an audio conference at the European Broadcasting Union in Switzerland. And Doug said, "Oh, I've got this really great project. I'll be in touch." And it wasn't until 2010
Okay.
that the funding was available to develop Airtime. So I came on board quite early on.
When it was Campcaster.
Yes. This Campcaster was an earlier attempt to do the same thing, but the web technology wasn't really as good then as it is now. So there was this part of it called Campcaster Web, which was felt had the most potential, but it needed a lot of work, and so that was basically rewritten from the ground up, pretty much.
Right, with the better technology comes
Yeah. Well, web technology has moved
updates.
on a lot. I mean, like when Camcaster Web was written, you didn't have things like jQuery. There wasn't a lot of Ajax stuff at all, and it had Camcaster had its own sort of custom written playout engine, which was kind of hard to make reliable because it had been developed years ago by someone different, and it would never really been deployed in production, except for 1 or 2 places. So it didn't really have the community around it that Airtime has now. And so a new playout engine was written, which is called Pipo. That's the Python playout engine. And that connects between the Airtime web interface that you see and the Liquid Soap that does the actual assembly of the streams and the audio output to the sound card. And then another program was written, which is called Media Monitor. That's another Python program. And that is the thing that keeps track of all of your files.
These are all Python programs.
Yeah, both Pipo and Media Monitor are written in Python. The web interface of Airtime is written in PHP. And RabbitMQ is used to send messages to and from the different parts. So it's quite a modular system.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems complicated, but if you had the same functionality in a single program, it would have to be a very, very big program. And you'd be like reinventing the wheel a lot. So although the diagram does seem complicated, you could really put everything in the green dotted box in one box called Airtime, but it would be like a mystery, as to how it worked. And so by sort of exploding that diagram and showing all the different components and how they interact, I'm hoping that people will understand that, it's complicated, but we're not hiding the complexity from you.
Yeah.
Because if you had
and if you have
all
to
these different
fix
parts,
it, I mean, you can actually go
exactly.
to a park and
exactly. And because we're using a lot of commonly used things like RabbitMQ and like Apache and Postgres and so on, it's not like all this stuff is buried and under sort of a 6 feet of soil. It's actually quite accessible. And there will be people who have experience in these other tools.
Yeah, and then
and hopefully they'll be able to apply that experience.
Then you have the experts who can
Right. Yeah, that's the idea anyway. Because I mean.
Okay, let me just go grab my charger.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Okay. So Kara, when you go to like localhost port 8000, do you see anything?
Yes, I have what I had before: administration, server status,
Yeah, but no streams.
no streams.
Okay, we'll have to come back to what's wrong with your machine. Is it possible to get a screen share going on that machine as well?
Yeah, I'll try it. Let's try.
All right.
Okay,
So,
so you're back in front of the Airtime machine, Lucille?
yes, sir.
Okay, because I can't see your face now, I can only see your screen. So. Okay,
Yeah, I'll let that be.
all right.
Uh,
So let me just see if I can. Okay, your screen has gone small now. I don't know if there's a way to get it back up in the big window. No? Okay, well, I'll just try and remember what that looks like.
No, check it out. Is it there or no? I can read it out to you, or
No, I can see it, but it's really tiny down in the corner of the screen. It was big up in the middle, so it's not your fault. It's something on my side, because in my big window I can just see Lucille and your sort of generic avatar. Oh well. So
so this setup script can perform Apache Web server configuration so that you can connect to Airtime directly after this installation.
That's right. So what you want to choose is dedicated vhost,
Okay.
which is done in the same way with the tab key and the OK. Now all this is asking us is, do you want to set up Apache automatically? Because some people might prefer to have the custom Apache configuration, but most people will just go for the standard one, and the option that we give them is virtual host or a vhost. So now it should ask you what server name you want. You can use localhost in this case.
Right. Okay.
Just hit tab and OK.
Root at localhost is
That's the administrator for the machine. In this case, you can just hit OK.
Okay.
So
Sudo adsys default is recommended when using a virtual host for Airtime.
Yeah. This is because Apache comes with a default configuration, which is that page you've probably seen that says it works. But that could get in the way when we're trying to install a web server. So we just say remove default and hit OK.
Okay, so we've already done this now.
Yep, so we come to the Icecast section. Now this is for people who don't have the automatic configuration in their Icecast setup, like users of older versions of Icecast. So the advantage of saying yes here is that it will also configure Airtime at the same time. So I recommend you say yes.
So yes.
Then it should ask you the host name.
So
It should already say localhost.
yep. And I
so
press
just
OK.
hit OK.
Now Icecast 2 source password, I set it up as Airtime 1.
Okay, is that showing up in the thing already?
No, it showed up as hack me.
Okay, so let's change that to Airtime 1 as well.
Okay. Relay password was Airtime 2.
Yeah.
And admin was capital A,
Yeah.
Airtime 3.
Yeah.
Oops, I just pressed enter and it went through. That's fine.
Okay. Okay. So it should now be asking you which storage path you want to use.
Yes.
Okay. Now, by default, we have this path in /serve, SRV, but you can use any path you want on the system. This is just a default, and I think this would be okay for your needs. If you had an existing installation where you put it on a special mount point or something, you had a file server, something like that, this is where you change that option. But for people who are just trying it out, this is a fine place to put your files. So just hit OK. And now it should ask you about an admin password.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is not the same as the admin password for Icecast. This is a totally separate password, which we use when we're logging into Airtime through the web interface. So it should be something different from the Icecast admin password. Otherwise, it's too easy to guess. If one, a person has one or the other.
Okay, so this is my. We're not going to be using. I guess my current instance is already on a server, not mine. Lucille.airtime. But so we can use another one. So
yeah, so just make it like Airtime 4 or something, whatever you want for this one.
Okay, so Airtime 4.
So. Okay, so configuration should be over. It should now be actually doing the install. Hey, Kara, I can see your face now.
Ah, yes, but the video on this laptop is terrible.
Yeah, but, that's the web for you, isn't it?
Can I see your face? Mm-hmm.
Now this computer's got extra slow, but I'm going to share the screen.
Okay, so I can see your install is sort of happening, but I can't see it big enough to see what the text is.
So selecting and unpacking, we've got.
Yeah.
What can I spot? Okay, and it came to a stop. Linux. libtool. PHP 5, Python.
This will go on for a little while. Is there any way you can get that to show up big? Maybe switch off the screen share and start the screen share again?
Yeah, let's try that.
Right, now I see your face again.
Okay.
No, it's still small.
Still small.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna.
What if I do?
Okay, I just clicked on your face and I have your face big now. So try the screen share now. Okay, I've got it back. Yeah, cool. So this is all going correctly so far.
Cool.
This is Airtime's own native setup script, which runs after all the Debian stuff is done. What it's doing now is it's generating the locales, which are for the international support.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that the setup script does this is we found a lot of users did not actually have their locales set up correctly. So when we tried to install the international support, it failed. So now it's sort of like we're babysitting it a little bit, but we're just trying to make sure that people get a successful install experience. So the very last part is that it runs a self-check, which is called airtime-check-system.
Yep.
Okay, and that's successfully installed. So you can see in the top of this output the status URL, which is localhost port 80 /API/status blah blah blah. And this is basically Airtime checking itself. And it's saying that it's responding okay, and then it's reporting some stuff about your system. So It's telling you which version of Ubuntu and all that kind of thing. And the reason we make it do that is so that when people have systems that go wrong, we ask them to run this command, airtime check system, and it spits out all of this stuff which we can use to diagnose their problem.
So what's the command? Airtime?
So it's sudo.
Sudo.
Yeah.
Airtime.
Yeah, airtime -check hyphen system.
Hi.
And you can run that anytime, not just during install.
Okay, cool. Sudo airtime dot hyphen.
Yeah, check.
Sorry, what was it again?
Check. CHECK. Hyphen.
Check
Yeah, system.
system.
Yeah, it's really very useful. It'll ask you your password because this requires root or sudo access because we're going to get some data about the system.
Right.
Okay, so the most important line is the last one. Is your installation of Airtime looks okay, and that basically means that it didn't encounter any errors when it did this check. Also, the second line, Airtime server responding, that's a good sign. That basically means that the Apache side of things is running okay, because as you see, the status URL is actually fetched over HTTP, and if Airtime wasn't running correctly, you wouldn't be able to fetch anything over the web interface. So this is like an automated, non-interactive way of finding out whether the whole system's running. And the other stuff, like further down, is useful. Airtime version. We can see, if they are actually running the latest version, because sometimes people don't know which version they've got. It tells us the OS, which helps us see if it's a supported version or not. Also, CPU is really useful because
Airtime version?
Okay, it's about the,
2.4.
let's see,
Yep.
1,
Sorry.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Yep.
7th line down. So the other thing though that's really useful is CPU, because when people report performance issues, and you ask them what kind of CPU they've got, often they're a bit vague about that. But this tells us exactly which CPU they have in their machine, and that's really useful because if they're having a performance issue, it may be that the machine is just not fast enough. Like they're trying to run hundreds of streams, and they've got like a machine that's 10 years old, and it only has I don't know, like 256 megabytes of RAM or something, which is just below what we recommend. Mm-hmm. So you'll see there's also a line total memory megabytes and total swap megabytes. Obviously, this is a virtual machine, so it will be like whatever you've allocated to the virtual machine. But we would expect to see at least 512 megabytes for a production machine with no admin access, like no browser running directly on the machine. And if they've got running a browser, like the desktop on the Airtime server, it should have at least 1 gigabyte of RAM. Otherwise, it will struggle. So then we can say, look, it's not our fault. It's your computer. Mm-hmm. Which is a good answer. Works for me. So anyway, there's some other information further down, like the playout engine, Pipo. What's its process ID, how long it's been running for in seconds, how much memory and CPU it's using, which should be like a low percentage. If it says like 95% or 100% or something, you know that it's things have gone badly wrong. Same for Liquid Soap, process ID, how long it's been running for, what memory and CPU it's using. Liquid Soap uses a bit more CPU than the other stuff because it has to do things like decode and encode media formats, like MP3s might be in one bit rate and the stream is in a different bit rate and things like that. So that's probably the most CPU intensive process. Mm-hmm. And then the media monitor also reports what it's using here. So again, that shouldn't be very much.
So for Liquid Soap, what should be when should you start to worry? At what percentage?
Well, it depends on the age of the machine and the load on it. So if you're running like 3 different streams, and it's an old machine, you might see that go up to like 50% or something. I would say anything higher than 50% is probably cause for concern. and then anything higher than like 90% is cause for alarm.
Okay.
You know, and if it gets to 100%, then yeah, you're screwed, basically, because there won't be anything left for anything else. So this is a good diagnostic tool, and we now have reached the point where we can actually go and check out the Airtime installation we've just made. So if you have a flag of bridging mode.
If you go to look at my shared screen.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh sugar.
Okay, let me just have a look.
If you catch it now, you might. There's a lag. The picture's still up there, but
Okay.
now I've got a warning on my screen. Oh my goodness.
Okay. Now you're seeing me. I can see that, but it's really small again. I can't get you up to the
It did fail.
big size. Come
I'm
on.
trying to see it.
Oh, there we go. It's back again.
Okay, so I'm trying to get the screen to go big, and it won't do it. Come on. To do what? I'm gonna mute your other machine for a sec.
Why?
And I can't get it to come
No,
up
I
big.
can't get Kara's screen. Yeah.
Yeah, can you see it's small but not big?
Yeah, I just can see it in Google Hangout, right? So like
Yeah, I can't get it to go
as small
big.
as yours.
Yeah. I really do need to see it bigger to figure out what's going on there. Ah, right, I've got it big. What did you
Maybe
do?
Kara, can you send us a screenshot?
How can I?
You got it? Oh, me too. Hey.
What did you do differently?
Oh, and it's gone.
How can I make my the terminal bigger?
Yeah, that's fine. What you've got, I can see it perfectly now. Okay, I think the problem is your server name is localhost.p57b. That should just be localhost.
That's fantastic. Okay, I'll take it.
Okay, so let's think about where that would be easiest to configure.
Do I change it through Nano or?
I'm just thinking about the easiest way to do that. Okay, so I think I've got the answer. I hope so.
Super.
Okay, so I'm going to do a screen share with you now, Cara. Give it
Okay.
a shot. Can you see my terminal?
Yeah, let's check. Yes.
Okay, and is it big enough to read?
Yes.
Okay, so I've just run a command, which is it's a Debian command
Okay.
that helps you reconfigure a package that's gone wrong. And it's, can you see I've highlighted it? It's sudo. Yeah, then a space. Now, this is the command dpkg
Yeah.
hyphen
Yeah.
reconfigure
Yeah. Dedicated. I think I did dedicated virtual host last time.
Okay.
Can I do it again?
Right. So yeah. So just hit the tab key and click OK.
I'll just write this down so I.
Okay.
Yes, I think this would be good to put in the manual because I did this and I wanted to change it later when I realised I'd put the wrong thing.
Yeah.
This would be nice in the manual. Okay, dedicated to host.
Yeah. I'm not sure if we put this in the manual. I'll have to double check that.
Not for if you want to go back and change it, because I realised after I'd put it in that it was wrong. And
Okay, so here you've got localhost.p, I can see.
Yeah.
You just want to change that to localhost.
Just localhost?
Yeah.
Oh no! How do I go back?
Okay, just run through the whole thing and do it again. There is no back button for this, I'm afraid. So you just got to do it twice. Okay, so it says reconfiguration complete.
Oh, so that was.
Yeah. So you've done that, right? But now we need to do it again.
Okay, yeah.
So hit the tab key and then enter. Okay, that's looks good. There's nothing after localhost, is there?
No, nothing.
Okay, good. So tab and enter again.
And remove default?
Yeah, remove default. That's good. See, some people may have configured their default web server to be something else, like they may have some other server running.
Yeah.
So we don't just take that. So I want you to answer yes to enable Icecast 2 and set passwords automatically.
So Icecast host name is localhost.
Yep. In this case, it would be, yeah. If it was for real, it would be like the real name of it. So it might be like, you know, something .airtime.pro or whatever, but we're just going to do localhost for today. Okay. Okay. So it should do all this. It says like you need to do this, but actually the script should do it. Right. So Monit's restarted OK. You've got a warning that Apache 2 could not reliably determine the server's fully qualified domain name. That is normal when you're using localhost.
Okay.
Okay. So now I want you to use your up arrow and go back and run Airtime check system again.
Oh.
Sudo.
Oh, I need to change the Airtime status URL.
You should get that changed automatically. Okay. So, okay, something has not worked there. I think what we're going to have to do is dive in and find what's up with your installation.
Okay.
Great.
Great
example.
Yeah, I think what happened here is that when I wrote the thing for setting your Airtime hostname, I didn't make it overwrite any existing configuration because it's really designed for people who are setting up for the first time, and we don't want to overwrite people's custom configurations. So probably the thing I just showed you can't get you out of this particular hole. So let's go to the directory etc/airtime. Okay, I'm thinking that this is probably in airtime.conf. Let's just have a look. Oh, let's have sudo. Okay. Okay, so I'm thinking that the value of base URL is probably wrong.
Okay.
On your machine. Okay. Can you see my airtime.conf file there?
The which file?
Okay, so you just typed ls, which lists the files. You can see the
I've-
first
I've
file is called airtime.conf. Yeah.
Okay, I did went to change directory and listed what was in the directory, and then I
Yeah.
listed the next command.
Right. So your next step is to type sudo nano.
Yeah. Just sudo nano.
Yeah, and then a space, and then airtime.conf, which is the file you want to edit. Okay. Now, if you scroll down to the line where it says general in brackets. Oh no, don't close the terminal.
Oh no!
No, just click cancel. Okay. Okay, so you're in the wrong directory now.
I go back again.
Yeah. So just a way to get out of that. Yeah. Just click Control X, because you've just opened an empty file. So yeah, Control X to get it out of there. Okay, I don't think you hit Control. Did you hit something else? Okay, now we're good. Okay, so CD to etc/airtime. Yeah, you've got to put a slash in front of it, because you're probably in your home directory. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Okay, so there's the airtime.conf file that we want. Type sudo nano airtime.conf. Yeah. Okay. Okay, you've got to put the file name afterwards. That's it. Yeah.
There's nothing.
Okay, on my screen I'll show you. It should be like that.
Oh yeah, I have.
Oh, okay, you've typed airtime.com. It's probably my accent, but it's actually CONF. So that's like cake, oranges, nuts, fruit. CONF. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so scroll down to the line where it says base URL, which is in the general section. Okay, so you need to use the down. Okay, you've gone too far. You need to use the up arrow to get back up.
Base URL. Okay, and here we change it.
Yeah. Okay, so you just want to go along that line, and just change that to localhost. No dots. Nothing. That's it. Now Control O to write out the file. Okay. And now do your up arrow. Actually, it's probably not there anymore because you've opened a new terminal. So do a sudo airtime check system.
Yay! Oh, medium monitor process ID failed.
Okay. Well, we're getting a little bit further.
And liquid soap process.
ID failed.
Okay.
Playout engine process ID failed.
Yeah, it's probably because of the dodgy configuration. It's probably like all connecting to the wrong place. Because if you look at oh, that's nice. Thank you. If you look at the line, let's say 3 or 4 up from the bottom, you can still see that localhost.p57bd thing is going on.
Ah, okay, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Right. So and also right up at the top where Pipo is doing the same thing.
Okay, yeah.
So I think what we need to do is reconfigure those services so that they're using the correct domain name. Let me just have a quick look. Uh, du- 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 du. You know what? Let's try restarting the services first.
Okay.
I'll just try and remember the names of them.
Should I do sudo nano airtime conf?
No, because I've looked at that. I don't think the answer is in there. I think basically we've fixed the domain name, but we have to restart the services. So what I'm going to suggest you do is restart the Airtime playout service.
Okay.
So let me just give this a shot. I'm guessing now. Okay. Right. So, can you see my terminal?
Yeah.
Okay. So, sudo service. That just means like do something with the system service. Airtime dash playout. Restart.
Oh, looks good.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. Now I want you to do that for the other services as well. So there's sudo service airtime liquid soap. Start.
Stopping liquid soap channels, no script found.
Okay.
In etc. liquid soap.
Right. Okay, and let's do the last one, which is airtime media monitor. Ah, right, I see what you've done there. You've typed sudo service liquid soap restart, and the actual thing is sudo service airtime dash liquid soap restart.
Oh, okay.
Because Airtime has its own way of managing the liquid soap service. Because the reason it says you've got no channels is because you're looking at that's just the default liquid soap configuration, which you haven't put anything in there, and you wouldn't normally for Airtime because Airtime handles all of the configuration by itself. Okay. So I think we probably need to do something with the liquid soap configuration.
Okay.
Let's have a look. Okay.
Can you
Now,
see that?
this is an interesting hole to have to dig yourself out of because you're actually having to come up with a lot of different workarounds.
This is very good experience.
Educational, yeah. Sorry.
Because this is what would happen out in the field. People would be
definitely.
tinkering on their own, not
Yeah, you
doing
didn't-
it properly.
Yeah, you're only doing this to give us something interesting to talk about.
Of course.
I know that. So, right, unable to connect to the Airtime server. Yeah, that's about right. Okay, now the last service I'd like you to try and restart is the media monitor.
Airtime hyphen media monitor?
Yeah, and media and monitor have a hyphen between them.
Okay. Okay, that's worked.
Okay. Now use your up arrow to run airtime check system again. See if it's any better.
Playout engine, liquid soap, and media monitor process.
And media monitor.
Yeah.
All fold failed.
Okay. I'll just take a look as soon as that comes up on my screen. It's a bit slow. Okay, so, well, we've got some green to go with our red. So,
Christmas!
Christmas.
yeah. So let's see. Engine. Okay, so playout engine running seconds 0. Now, if you notice that the where it says displaying log file var log airtime pipo.log,
Yes.
it's still trying to reach airtime at the old domain.
Okay.
Localhost.p57 blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting because it shouldn't do that. And if you look at Media Monitor, it's also trying to do that. Still reach at the old address, even though we've restarted them all. And I think you found a bug there because it shouldn't matter. I mean, once the configuration has been changed, it should try and read that configuration in again, but it's clearly not.
Okay.
So we'll see what we can do about that. Let's see. I'm just going to have a quick look and see where else that setting might be. Can we do that with sudo? Okay. I wonder if the rabbit MQ is the cause of this.
The culprit.
So, Leah, let's have a look at. I'd like you to edit. First of all, let's take a look at airtime.conf again. Sudo nano airtime.conf. And let's look through that file and see if there are any other places where the dodgy setting is. You know, that all looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah, that looks good.
Okay, so let's quit out of that with Control X. All right, now let's have a look at the media monitor configuration. That's media-monitor.cfg.
Hang on, maybe.
Yep, do that again.
It was sudo nano media-monitor.conf.
No, CFG is this time. Why it's different, I do not know. Yeah, CFG is just short for configuration, as is conf, but they've used two different abbreviations. I don't know why. Okay, so your RabbitMQ host line says localhost, so that looks okay.
Yeah.
I don't see anything wrong there. So let's do the last one, which is, if you quit out of that, it's pipo.cfg.
So I'm trying to put in that same command, and I'm just receiving a blank page. Is that because I'm not doing it right? Or?
It's probably because you're in the wrong directory, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
You have to be in /etc/airtime for these commands to work.
Okay, slash. And right now, where did you leave me, Daniel?
I can't remember.
You just
probably-
installed the
Just installed the
I'm in the.
Apache.
Okay, so I'm in. Is a directory. Okay, so now I should be getting something. Then. Oh no, I'm still not getting anything.
Okay, let me take a look at your. Okay, so I see you're in the wrong place. So you need to type CD
CD.
for change directory, space. Yeah, and then a slash etc because we want to go right back to the root directory of the server, and then airtime. Oh no, you've left a space. You need to put a slash between etc and airtime. That's it. Yeah, try that. Right, now type ls.
Sorry?
ls, like leopard,
LS?
Sasquatch. Yeah, and then press enter. Okay, so there's all your airtime configuration files.
Okay, so for configuration, the abbreviation, what, blah, blah, blah. What,
One of the
when
files
do you
is
use
airtime.conf.
conf, when do you use CFG?
Well, this is just the people that wrote it. They've just been a little inconsistent. They both mean the same thing. So let's see. With Kara's machine,
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
it's a really interesting knot that you've tied there. So the only other place to look is the liquid soap configuration,
Okay.
which is liquidsoap.cfg.
Oh. Just sudo nano liquid soap dot cfg.
Yeah.
Oh,
don't seem
there's
to have
literally
one.
nothing. There's nothing there.
Okay. I think this is probably because you haven't successfully run
Okay.
Airtime yet, so it hasn't actually generated a configuration.
Okay.
But what I'm intrigued by is why it's still trying to read from the old configuration that we gave it for the domain name. Yep. Lucille, there's a small typo in your notes there. For changing directory, it's CD.
Ah, pardon. Yeah.
Yep, not CF. Otherwise, yeah. Otherwise, you're going to be doing that for years. You'll be going, why the hell doesn't this work? Yeah. So.
I can only do one thing.
Yeah. Now, I think, Kara, what I would suggest, because it's just a test server, I think you should just reboot.
Okay.
Because and you could just type sudo reboot. Because something's gone badly wrong there, and it isn't. I like that note. Like for a production server, you would not normally advise someone to do that because it's going to cause them some downtime with their airtime stream. But in this case, where the machine is just totally screwed, you don't have much to lose by rebooting.
Okay.
So if you'd like to switch back to your other laptop so I can hear you.
This is I am on. Oh, there.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I can see actually. You're
It's rebooting. It's off. It's coming back now.
Okay. You might have to, yeah, do the screen share thing again because it's
Yeah.
the screen share's like frozen on the last thing you did.
Oh,
So, but that's okay because
Yeah.
there's nothing going on I can see anyway. Okay, so right, you've gone offline on that one, so I can see that laptop's doing something.
okay. I'm just logging in now.
Yep. Okay. So yeah, while that's happening, I'll just mention the liquidserp.cfg file. As you can see at the top of Lucille's screen, it says this file is auto-generated, do not change. This is because this file is generated from the stream settings page in the Airtime web interface. So when you go to stream settings and you set like localhost or whatever the server name is or what kind of stream you want, this file is written out again by the web interface, and that's how we make it a bit more user-friendly to configure the stream outputs. And the reason why it has that warning at the top of the file is that if you make a change there and you save the file, anybody who comes along to the web interface and saves there is just going to overwrite the file again.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you were like in a really difficult situation and you couldn't access the web interface, you might change it, but you just have to be aware that it's probably going to get overwritten
Right.
at some point.
And that will get confusing.
Yeah, exactly.
What's
Yeah.
what's my instance? Do I have an instance already, or?
You do, yes, because Airtime check system reported that your machine was running fine. If you were to access the IP address of your virtual machine, you should see the Airtime web interface. But as I mentioned, you need to have bridging mode set up for your virtual machine so that
Yes.
it can actually get an IP address from the outside world. Otherwise, it will just be like a sealed container and you won't be able to get into it.
Okay, can you walk me through that again?
Yep. So let me just get my virtual box back up. I'll remind myself.
Yep.
So one of the things I noticed about VirtualBox is you can only change the server settings when the machine is powered off, which I guess makes sense. But so I'm going to do that. Screen share going. Okay. Okay, seems the screen sharing doesn't support virtual desktop, so it will only let me share things which are actually on the current desktop I'm on. So there we go. Can you see my VirtualBox?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to go to the settings button for the precise server airtime test.
Settings for the. Okay.
I see you've got the Oracle, whatever version is, I don't know, but it's slightly different from mine, but it should be similar.
Okay.
In the settings, there's a network option. Is that showing up?
No. Oh, yes, it is. Sorry. So
Okay.
network, adapter
Okay.
1.
And then adapter 1 should be enabled. And where it says attached to, we'll change that to bridged adapter.
Aha. Okay. Promiscuous mode. Deny or allow?
I
Carol?
don't have that option, but it sounds good to me. No, actually, it says mine's set to deny, and I've never made that setting, and
Okay, so I'll just leave it as.
I just like the idea of promiscuous mode. I think it's.
There's
great, isn't
My policy of the network. Okay. So not promiscuous. Okay.
Well, I never use the advanced settings, so it's not a it's not a problem. And then it will just give you the name of the network card on the local machine that you want to attach it to. And in my case, I only have one, which is F1. You might have like F0 or...
This is still in settings, or
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just below where it says attached to bridge adapter.
Right. So I have
Do you have a choice of...
name. I have Qualcomm Atheros or Realtek. Realtek family.
is it the
controller.
laptop?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's asking if you want to attach it to the wireless chipset or the
Micro?
or the cable one. Yeah, but it doesn't really matter because I mean you presumably you can get internet on either.
Okay. So I'll leave it on the wireless.
Mm-hmm.
And then do I check or tick off cable connected?
I would leave it on.
Okay.
Yeah. This is the virtualization because you can simulate an Ethernet card with a cable connected, or you can simulate an Ethernet card with a cable disconnected. So you can actually test what happens in both of those states, because it's virtual. It could be connected or not, depending on the software setting, rather than whether your network is physically connected in the real world.
Okay.
So what it's saying is the adapter type is the kind of Ethernet card that it is virtualizing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the basic one is like a PC net card, which is just a real basic network card. Or you can choose like an Intel, like gigabit card. Whatever. I just leave it on the default.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, because like everything is virtualized, including the hardware Ethernet card that you've got. So the idea being that you can simulate exactly what it would be like if you had that actual Ethernet card. But yeah, like I said, I never touched the advanced settings and it worked for me. So then you have to run your normal network setup on the virtual server. So if you want to use DHCP, you would use DHCP, and if you wanted a static IP address, you would set that up in the normal way.
Okay, so I guess static because I'm always in the office,
Well,
or is that
Yeah,
the
I mean, the
mentality
thing is,
behind it?
if you're going to use a static IP on a virtual machine, you just need to make sure that that static IP is actually available on your LAN.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the most realistic
so how
simulation
do I do
of a
that?
production airtime server. Well, you would have to talk to your network administrator to find out what IPs are available. Because normally you would use DHCP if you're not sure, and that would just use the router to assign an IP address automatically.
Okay.
Like if you were on a wireless connection, that would be the logical thing to do.
Okay.
But if you were doing like a for real airtime server with its own domain name, that would be given a static IP address by the ISP.
So that is the difference.
Yeah.
Server, your own server, you should have a stable static IP
Well, yeah, I mean,
address.
if it was, like I said, if it was a real production airtime server, for our purposes, you can probably use DHCP.
Okay.
So, I would do something like sudo ifconfig.
Sudo.
Yeah.
Do you want to bring it up on your
I'm
screen?
going to screen share that for you so you can see that. Okay, so this command here, sudo ifconfig, that just means check the configuration of the interface.
Aha, okay.
Yep.
Sudo config.
Yeah.
Alors,
Okay, so that should give you an answer.
I
See if I
have
can get that up. That should tell you what the internet status is of the, or the network status, I should say, of the virtual machine. And normally you would see something like, you know, F0 or F1, which would be the Ethernet interface. And you will also see something like LO, which will be the loopback address. Remember I said that 127.0.0.1 is the IP address of localhost? This is because of something called the loopback, which is basically a way of seeing your machine's IP address on the machine itself, the localhost. But for network configuration reasons, the part that we're interested in is the first part, F1 or F0. And you can see on mine, I've got a static...
Sorry, can you hide me?
Okay, yeah, so your internet address on this machine for F0 is in the second line, and it's inet adder 10.0.2.15.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is the IP address of the virtual machine in IPv4.
Do I need to note that down, or I can always go back, I guess?
Yeah, that's good to note down for this example. Now, the interesting thing is if you leave your VirtualBox running for a minute and you go to your regular web browser on the same machine,
yeah,
and you type 10.0.2.15 into your address bar in the browser to see if you can actually reach the Airtime server from the local machine. If the bridging is working correctly, you should be able to do that.
Oops. This page is not available.
Okay.
10.0.2.15. Do I need to type anything in before, or?
No, that should be fine as it is. Did you do HTTP?
No, I didn't type anything in before.
Okay, yeah, you need http:// like you would for any web address, and then 10.0.2.15.
Even in Google Chrome?
Yeah, any browser.
Okay.
I mean, it could be that you're you need to restart your virtual machine before the bridging adapter will work.
Right. Okay, so maybe I should do that. What function do I have to command? I mean, do I have to put in
you can just do like sudo halt.
shut down or sudo halt? Okay.
Yeah. Or you can go to the machine menu up on the actually, yeah, let's do that. Let's go to the machine menu, and you should have an option like power down or shut down or something.
Shut down or reset or shut down.
Yeah.
Host plus H. What is my host hotkey?
I have no idea. That's probably to do with your window configuration.
Okay.
And to switch between virtual machines or something. Okay. So you've simulated switching it off. Okay, so the window should disappear.
Yes.
Okay, And if you go and if you screen share with me your VirtualBox sort of control panel window, yeah, that's the one. So if you click on the settings button now and go to the network tab. Do you have the settings tab up?
Yep.
And the
Settings, network.
And does it still
Bridge
say bridged?
detector.
Okay. So now try closing the settings box and the start button. Yeah, because with my VirtualBox, my version of VirtualBox on Linux, I can't actually change settings at all when the machine's running.
Okay, right.
So I wonder if it's like a restart is required.
But with mine, I can change them. It's just now I still
I
have
just
to
wonder if the
reconfigure.
virtualization changes are actually applied to the running virtual machine, because it's like you're pulling out a piece of hardware and putting in a different thing, you know?
Right, yeah. You need a reboot time for it to connect.
Yeah, I would have thought so. That would be my best guess.
Makes sense. Okay, everything seems good.
Okay, so when...
Kara, Kara, are you still here?
Yep, Kara.
Kara.
I can't hear Kara anymore.
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, good. Sorry to bore you. We're just restarting Lucille's virtual machine to see if we can get a bridged adapter working.
Starting liquid soap layout engine. Okay.
So, after I rebooted,
Yeah.
what shall I...
Let's run the Airtime check system again.
Okay.
With sudo.
Oh, wow. It's all... Oh, no, it's not green. Playout engine, liquid soap process, and media monitor process failed.
Okay. Can you screenshot? Let's see if I can get that up big.
Yeah, it's still got that local host atrocity that I put in yesterday.
Really? Okay, that's definitely a bug.
Okay.
Because it should not do that. It's not sensible. Basically, what's happening is it's not checking the configuration file that for changes, which is crazy because you might move the server or something. Need to change that for real. So I think please take a screenshot of what you're seeing in front of you now. With this Alt and Print Screen button, if you have that on your keyboard.
Yeah. I'm just saving it now.
Yep. And we need to get you set up with an account on the bug tracking server.
So I can file a ticket or something.
Yeah. Have you done that before?
I have done, but it was for floss manuals about 3 years ago.
Oh, okay, no, this is a different thing altogether. So I think because I've watched you do it, I think it'll probably be quicker for me to do it this time.
Okay.
Because I can see what's going wrong there. Okay. But if you just email me the screenshot, because it looks a bit crappy on my screen. But I'm sure it will look great on yours. I can either report the bug myself, or I can get you an account to report it. In fact, you must have a login for the forum, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if you go, I'm just going to run you through this quickly. Let me screen share. Okay, I'm going to screen share the browser a second.
I'm just going to stop my video because it's very slow.
Okay. Let's do this one. So if you go to dev.sourcefabric.org in your browser, DEV,
yep.
You should see a thing called Sourcefabric Development Platform, and it should say System Dashboard.
Yeah.
Okay, now in the top right corner, there is a login link.
Okay, I'm still waiting for it to.
Okay. Can you see login yet?
Oh, it says it's in the address bar dashboard, so it's on its way.
Okay.
Or maybe it's quicker if I do it on this. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do it on this machine. Okay,
Okay.
dev. Oh yeah, this is much quicker.
Okay.
Sign
So-
in, login.
Yeah, when you click login, it should take you to the login page, same one you have for the forums. Login.sourcefabric.org. Right, so
Oh, I have no.
type in your username.
There's no field to log in.
Weird. Let's see your.
That's on both machines.
So maybe you're already logged in.
Oh, could be. Oh no. Where is it? Oh, here we go.
Yeah, it was probably just being slow. Okay, so are you in?
Yeah. Oh, hang on. Oh yeah, I think I'm. Yeah, let's try it again.
Okay, when you get in, you should see the dashboard again.
Yes, I think I've signed in.
Okay, so is your face up in the top right corner?
Oh yeah, it says Cara in the top. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, if you've got a gravatar, it shows up there instead of your name. But okay, so in the middle at the top, there should be a big button that says Create Issue.
Oh yes.
Okay, so you want to click on that.
Well, let's see. Concise summary title.
Okay, so the summary for something like this would be
Poetry.
the summary would be something like changing the base URL.
Cara, is your microphone right next to your keyboard?
Ah yes. I shall
No.
type more slowly.
No, we'll get a better microphone. That's the solution.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, the summary would be something like the base URL configuration is not read on update. So you can try and be as precise as possible with
Yeah.
experience.
Okay, and this is quite major, or
Yeah, I would say it's major.
it's critical or major?
Um,
Major.
I'll go for major, yeah, because it's a major bug. but it's not actually going to.
It's not like a big security issue or something.
Well, yeah. I mean, a blocker is something that cannot be allowed to go out on a release.
Yeah.
There's, work must stop until this is fixed, basically.
Yeah.
So that's only for the most serious things. Like typically in the run-up to a major new feature release, like 2.40 that we just did, if you find something that totally screws it up, that would be a blocker. Something critical would be like security problem or something that like a Sourcefabric client is experiencing that's stopping their radio station from working the way they want it to. But I think we'll call this one major.
Okay.
At the top, project and airtime should already be there, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
And issue type should already be bug. Yep, okay. So components, that is what part of airtime is going wrong. Let's have a look.
Update DB setting. Or check
Really?
system.
Well, the check system is only really the thing that's telling you there's a problem. It's
Yeah.
this problem here is more
Installation.
underlying. Yeah, let's make it installation, but it could affect you if you move the server. So I would just say put it under installation. Actually, no, installation's wrong because it could happen anytime.
Okay. Upgrade scripts. No.
No, I would say
Preferences.
back end.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
Okay.
that is a category. Okay, what that means is stuff that the user doesn't see,
Okay.
in some cases, like in NewScoop, they say the back end is the administration interface, but
Yeah.
it's basically the hidden away stuff.
So should I put
It's
on
kind of a vague category, but
yeah. But
okay. So effects versions,
2.40
yeah, and fixed versions, I would say 2.4.1 because it's something we really should fix as soon as possible.
2.4.1.
Yeah, if it was something that's kind of not that urgent, we'd probably put it for 2.5.0. So it's like a
Okay.
something that's going to need a lot of work, or it's a lot of changes, or if we really don't know, just put future.
Okay.
But in this case, we'll have 2.4.1, please.
Okay. So I put
Yeah.
2.4.0 and 2.4.1, and then environment. Do I put my operating
Oh,
system?
we have to do assignee first.
Oh, okay.
You want to make that Naomi, because she's the project leader on Airtime now.
Oh, I don't get that option.
Do you not get assignee
No.
between fixed versions and environment?
No, I have components, effects versions, and then environment.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
take a
weird.
screenshot.
Okay, well, we can change that after. Possibly you don't have enough permissions to change that
Probably,
setting.
yeah.
So I'll change that for you.
Okay.
Okay, so environment. Type in the system that you're using, which is Ubuntu.
Yeah. And that's all?
Yeah, because
12.4 LTS.
this is not. Yeah, but this is not actually really specific to one version.
Okay. And then description. Shall I
Yeah,
put
so this is where we type
copy
the
and
whole
paste?
thing, right? So you can write something like having entered an incorrect base URL setting during installation. Changing the base URL and restarting the services did not work. Okay, so there should be an attachment box.
Airtime and media monitor, all four, or just restarting services you would assume I did all four?
Yeah, we did them all, didn't we?
Okay, yeah.
And then you could put something like also rebooting did not work,
Okay.
because we also tried that. This is not just affecting people who make a mistake, it also would affect anybody who needs to change the setting later on, like from something.com to something else.com. So this is actually a pretty big bug.
Okay. And I should just leave the original estimate.
Yeah, you don't need to write that in, because it's impossible for you to guess how much work this is to fix. So just skip down to attachment.
And then I add the screenshot.
Yep, absolutely. See, you've got this.
Actually, I have to email it from one computer to the other, so maybe if you pick up again with Lucille.
All right. So, Lucille, is there anything else you need to know?
So I'm trying to bridge.
Okay.
I have a new address, it seems.
Yeah, well, if your virtual server is on DHCP, it may pick up a new address each time. Let's take a look at what that is.
Okay, let me show you.
Okay, so now the address you've got sounds like a DHCP address on your local network, which is 192.168.114.144.
Right. Okay.
So if you open your regular browser on your machine, not in the VirtualBox, but in the, whatever you're using, Chrome or whatever, and do http://192.168.114.144.
Okay. And again, I'm getting pages not available.
Okay. Well, this is kind of difficult for me to test because it's just on your local network. I wonder, can you screen share your whole desktop for me?
Yeah, I think it might be something to do with the LAN, the proxy server I didn't set up at the beginning of my installation.
Oh, okay, possibly. But we shall see. Let's first of all, if you screen share your whole screen desktop with me. Okay, so if you go and open yourself a terminal on your local machine.
Terminal?
Yeah. Are you on like Windows Vista or something, or Windows 7?
8.
What is that?
Windows 8. So.
Okay, Windows 8. I don't keep up, as you can probably tell. Yeah, so there's a terminal option, presumably, somewhere. You can just open a regular DOS terminal.
How do I do that?
I don't really know, but is there a programs menu still in that thing?
Kind of. They tried to make it for the tablet, so wait.
Oh, okay.
Programs.
Oh, I see. I think I might know what that is. Okay, command prompt. There it is. It's at the top in the middle.
Aha. Perfect.
Yeah, that's what they call it. Okay, so I want you to ping, and then the IP address.
To ping?
Ping. P-I-N-G. Yep. That's it. So 192.168.
So ping 192.
Yeah, you've got to leave the space, and then 192. That's it. This will tell us if we can actually reach that machine from the Windows machine. Okay, so we've got a reply. So that machine does exist. I think if you go up into your browser, take out the S from HTTP, because it won't be a secure connection. Try just HTTP. Now hit enter.
Woohoo!
Yeah, that was your issue because.
Why did I put an S? Was that just my error? Yeah.
Well, habit, maybe, but the default Airtime install is not encrypted. You could put it under HTTPS, but you would need to set up a certificate. And you can do this with self-signed certificates, but it's kind of beyond the scope of a basic introduction to Airtime installation.
Okay.
Because you have to generate certificates or buy one. Then you have to install it on the server, and we don't actually document that for people because we figure if they need that level of support, they should probably just pay us to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're not actually in the business of selling certificates or anything like that. So if people ask about can I install over HTTPS or HTTP with SSL,
Mm-hmm.
then the answer is sure, just pay us. We'll do it for you. Because it would actually be quite a good thing to have because it would mean that you could encrypt the Airtime passwords, and that this would make it more secure. Like when you make a PayPal transaction or whatever, and you have that padlock up in the corner of actually also plus.google.com has it. I've just noticed that's under HTTPS as well. So it's totally possible, but we don't document it for end users at the moment because it's just like a whole extra layer of complication that they don't really need to get started.
I see.
So that is why you couldn't see it. Now, if you want to go and back to your browser window.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm in my instance or the.
Yeah, actually, let's run a command in your instance. Yeah, your virtual instance. Just run the top command, TOP.
Okay, so that's back into my virtual box.
Yeah,
TOP.
yeah, just TOP, and enter. Okay, this gives you a nice sort of chart of what the most intensive processes are on the machine. So, are you familiar with this program?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so this is a good program to know for Airtime support, because if you ask the user to run this command on their machine and screen share with you, you can see what's going on their machine right now. Because although we have the status stuff like Monet to check Airtime, there might be other stuff going on in their machine that we don't know about.
Okay.
So we can use this command to just get an overview of everything that's going on. So
can you just repeat the command, please?
Yeah, TOP.
Top. Okay.
Top. Yeah, it just tells you what are the top processes on that machine at the moment.
So mine are the regular ones, and what do I see as normal, abnormal?
Okay, so along the top you've got the how long the machine has been up, which is 22 minutes in your case.
Right.
How many users are logged in.
Right.
And the load average. Now, if the load average is like 0.0 something, that means it's very relaxed and it's coping well. If it becomes more than 1.0, it means it's not coping well.
More than 1.0.
Yeah. And what it shows is those three figures are like what it is now and what it was a few minutes ago and what it was further back. So you get a sort of an indicator of like how well it's doing now compared to how well it was doing recently.
Okay. Sorry, what was just from knowledge again, the first figure is what it was, middle is what it is now, and what it...
I forget which way around it is.
Okay.
But if you, there's a manual page for it, so if you type man space top, it'll give you the manual in the console. Yeah, so the most interesting lines for us are, okay, you have to quit out of top first, which is with the Q button, I think. Is it Q?
What did I do?
Yeah, so you just hit like Control C, which is the general command for getting rid of stuff you don't want. Yeah, or hit Q. So if I screen share this with you, let's have a look. Okay, so here's my terminal. you see my load average is way, way higher because I'm actually doing quite a lot of different things here. I've got Firefox using a hell of a lot of CPU, the Google Talk plugin. And this is really eating my machine. So my load average is way more than 1.0.
Right.
Now, okay, I'm running lots of different things. This is not typical for an Airtime server. This can go up as high as like 25 or 30. I've even seen even higher numbers than that, which means that your machine is crazily underpowered. But what we want to see is less than 1.0 in this area. Also, the uptime is kind of useful. I've got 2 hours 51 minutes. That's kind of useful to know if the machine has been rebooted recently, or if it's been up for a long time. Because sometimes Airtime servers can be used to run for like months at a time, and if you have like a problem like a memory leak, it can use up more and more memory over a long periods. And then, sometimes the only thing you can do is reboot. So down here, it tells us how much memory we've got, which is 6 gigabytes on this machine. And how much is used? Well, it's about 5.8, so it's nearly all of it. Not much free. And also, I've got 9 gigabytes of swap memory, and I'm actually starting to use my swap memory, which is, for performance reasons, is a bad sign. Means the system's quite highly loaded. And if we look at the regular things down here, we've got let's see, Firefox, Google Talk plugin, x.org, which is the the display server. We're using a lot of resources, mostly CPU.
Top resources.
All this video streaming is very CPU intensive that we're doing with the Google Talk. And like the fourth item at the moment is Airtime, the liquid soap process.
Okay. And so for me, it was...
Okay, so let's run it on your virtual machine. You'll see a very different picture because you're just running Airtime. Okay, so your top process is liquid soap, but actually Airtime dash liquid soap, which is the thing that runs the liquid soap process, and it's only using 8% CPU and only 4.5% of memory. And you'll notice in the top area, you've got 500 megabytes of RAM roughly, 512 whatever, and you've only used a small amount of that. And your swap, you've got plenty of swap, but 0K is used, so that's a good sign. And also your load average is nice and low. This is kind of what I'd expect, because you're not really doing much with Airtime yet. When you start using it, you'll see that run up. That's why I wanted you to run this, so that when you go over to your other window, your Chrome window, and you log into Airtime, and you start doing things, you'll see those numbers start to jump up.
So what is my username and password?
Okay, so it will be admin. And the thing that we set right at the end of the installation, where it said, what's your Airtime admin password?
Right.
So the one that wasn't Icecast, the other one. It was like, was it like Airtime 4?
Yes.
With a capital A? Something like that?
No. No capital A.
Okay.
Great memory.
So,
Okay.
oh yeah, it was your Icecast admin password that had a capital A.
Yes. That was important one.
Okay, so you'll see that liquid soap will probably stay the top thing, but you'll see some other stuff start to go on. So like there's some Python going on there. There is Postgres, Apache. This is all signs that Airtime is working.
Okay, so let me put something in the calendar, or...
Yeah, you'll probably see the Apache CPU and memory go up because it's doing like interaction. Yeah, but what you're looking at is totally normal. Load average nice and low, swap not being used. Percentages for different things are pretty low as well.
Okay.
Like we talked earlier, like if Airtime liquid soap was showing like 30%, 40%, 50%, that would be something to keep an eye on.
If I start adding media, what should go up?
Apache will go up because you'll be interacting with the web interface. Python will start going up because Media Monitor will start working.
Yep. Okay. This is all good to note down, actually.
Yep.
So, if I load media, we should see Apache because media monitoring.
Well, my media monitor is separate from Apache, but because you're using the web interface, you will be seeing Apache do some work. Because Apache has to run all the PHP stuff, jQuery, JavaScript, all that kind of stuff is all running via Apache. Media Monitor is a Python program, and it's running pretty much in the background. But you'll see stuff start to happen.
So if I was doing through FTP, you would see a bigger spike, for example, in my...
You might see a spike for Python as Media Monitor starts working, yeah. You might see the FTP server appear there, because they don't use a great deal of resources, but it might just pop up there for a second.
Okay.
Now, one thing I should show you before we leave top is how to sort the entries. So let me just screen share the terminal. Okay, so there are lots of shortcuts in top. If you hold down the Shift key and press the M, so you're doing like a capital M, it will resort all of the columns by the memory usage.
Aha.
Yeah. And if you do Shift P, it will resort them by CPU usage. So if you've got a lot of different stuff going on, and you're not sure if something's using more CPU or more memory, you can use those two keyboard shortcuts to resort the table. And it's sort of like a live update. Yeah, because you might have like one thing that's not using a lot of CPU, but it's using a lot of memory, and it's kind of low down in the table.
For example,
more typically, you'll have problems with CPU usage.
Okay, that's good to know too. So for CPU, the top is Pipo.
So Shift P.
Shift P. Oh, it's still. Oops. And for M memory.
For memory, Shift M. Yeah.
And data, I don't know, has Apache too.
Yeah. So another good one is a U. If you just hit the U key, there's no modifier key. It will say which user. And then okay, I just want to see stuff that's being done by Pipo. So type in Pipo, and it will show me whatever Pipo is doing. So give that a shot.
Okay, cool.
Okay, and then if you just type U again, and then hit Enter, you go back to the standard view.
Wait, sorry, 2 seconds. If I go back to...
Yeah, so did you hit U again?
U?
No, not Shift, just U.
Okay.
Okay, hit Enter, blank for all, yeah, and you should get them all back.
Cool.
Okay, so some of our programs are running under different usernames. So there's Pipo, there's Icecast2, yeah, because this makes it a lot easier to follow if you just want to see one thing, obviously. There's Postgres for the database. Okay, so just Postgres. There's www data, which is the user that Apache runs under on Debian and Ubuntu. Why it's not called Apache, I don't know.
Okay.
But that's like historical reasons. Yeah. So, and once you've done that, you can, like, say, I don't know, I want to just check system processes. I can do user root. Okay, then I just get all of those, and then I can actually do the Shift M and the Shift P within those results.
User root, two words?
No, just root.
Just root?
So hit U
Okay.
and then type root.
Root,
That's
and
it.
then I can check within them by clicking U again?
No, just Shift P for CPU sort, or Shift M for memory.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's pretty much all you need to know about Top. But it's good. It's a good diagnostic tool for when things are going wrong.
So I couldn't
Yeah,
access. I would have to do some sort of a Google Hangout with the client. I couldn't just go into their virtual box.
Okay, well, there are 3 different ways of doing this. One is do a Hangout and ask them to screen share with you.
Yeah.
If they're a more technical kind of person and they don't mind having that kind of discussion. Because some people will just want you to just deal with it. You know, they don't want to have their brain melted with all this detail. You know. Another way to do it is to have SSH access into their remote machine. So
SSH?
Yeah, SSH is the kind of thing that we use to look at consoles on other people's machines.
Okay.
It's a standard like sysadmin tool. It stands for just secure shell. So this is like an encrypted tunnel between your terminal and their terminal.
Okay.
Okay, so that's one way to do it. But the third way would be if it's Airtime Pro, you should already have an SSH login to their machines because they are hosted by us. So you might need to ask Andre to make sure that you have that access.
So I need access to which detail?
Okay, so like for Airtime Pro, we have a number of machines that host all of those accounts. And Andre is the administrator for those, but he may give you a shell account on those Airtime Pro servers so that you don't have to ask people each time, please make me a shell account. You can just go and look at any Airtime Pro server. So for example, Worthy FM was having some trouble with its uplink.
Yes.
And Cliff from the Toronto office, he just used an SSH session to go into the Airtime Pro machine, and he looked at the log files, and he figured out what was wrong with it. So this is probably a tutorial for another day, but
yes.
learning to use SSH is really very useful for remote repairs and administration. So you need to talk to, I guess, Lisa about arranging that with the team so that you can have that access. Because if you can't actually get into people's machines, you're at a real disadvantage. You can't, you can only see, like as an outside observer, what's going on.
Yeah.
And so this is more like, I don't know, phase 2, I guess. When you get more confident with this Airtime stuff, and you can actually then go and like dive right in and diagnose problems. Because Airtime has a lot of different logging facilities that print error messages and things like that. And yeah, I think we should probably have another hangout sometime and go through all that lot with you.
Okay, that'd be great. Well,
yeah, and Josh as well, actually. Josh would benefit from
what
doing
else
that as well.
do we need to do to finish up this install? It's installed. And Josh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Cliff will probably not be the one teaching this, but I think you and Kara and Josh should probably get together and have a session on this, so that you've got the same tools that the developers have and Andre has to go, and Victor, to go in and find these things out. Yeah. So.
Just a quick question.
Yep.
Is there a really quick command I can just enter that will take out all of the airtime that I've installed so I can start again fresh?
Yes.
Oh, super.
Yeah. Okay. So that would be a good thing to do. Let me just find my terminal again.
That's awesome.
Still.
Hard drive.
Right, so I'm going to press Q to get out of Top. Now, the standard command to remove any like Debian package, sudo apt get remove package name. So like Airtime. Can you see that okay? Can you see that all right? Okay, I've lost audio. Right, I should be back now. Am I back? Can you hear me?
Hello?
Oh,
Yep.
right now I can hear you
Hear
again.
you?
Yeah, I dropped out there. I don't know why. So let's do the screen share. Okay, so I was just saying the command to remove any like Debian or Ubuntu package is just sudo apt-get. Instead of install, we just do remove. Can you hear that, Kara? No,
No.
I think I've lost Kara.
Ah, there she is. Hello?
Hello? Hi, Kara.
I can hear you.
Hi, Kara. Can you hear me now?
Daniel,
Yep.
how do you go back to plugging in commands? Like I'm still in that top command.
Okay, just press the Q button for quit.
Ah, okay. Right.
Okay, so I can see Kara talking, but I can't hear her. So hopefully Kara can hear me. So Kara's question was, how do I remove a package?
Kara, just write something in the chat if you can hear us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
It's actually sudo apt-get remove. Airtime. Okay. Now, there is another option on this, which is purge. Okay, so if I get this up here, if I could do, instead of remove, I do purge. Okay, what that does is it removes the package, just like remove does, but it also removes all the configuration files for that machine. So if you just want to remove it and you want to keep the configuration hanging around for like a later install, you would use remove. If you wanted to remove everything, including the configuration, use purge. And purge is sometimes useful if you're doing a test on a machine and you want to like return it back to the state it was before you installed with like a completely blank configuration. But generally remove is enough.
So do you recommend I do purge as well?
In your case, yeah, do a purge.
Okay.
Because it's messed up.
Okay, so it's okay if I've already removed it if I then purge?
It'll probably say that you can't remove it because it's already removed. But don't worry about it.
Okay.
Just give it a shot, and do an install again. So I'm just going to try and get your screen up.
I think I'm sharing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
how? What was to install again?
Okay.
So you have to get Airtime.
If you've got the repository set up like we did with Lucille's machine, you can just do apt-get install Airtime. Or sudo. Yeah, but you need to put in the install as well. Yeah. Okay, I've got your screen up now. Okay.
Apt-get installed.
Yeah. So just use the up button to get it back, and then yeah, that's like it should be.
Okay, that's going to take a little while. So dedicated people.
Okay.
Should I just root at localhost? Just Or is it better to put my email address in?
Well, for a demo server, root is okay. But if you were doing it for real, you would put a real email address in, because the point of that setting is that should someone have a problem with your server, that they can contact you. In the case of Airtime, that's not likely to be a problem, because anybody who's working for your radio station probably already knows who you are. I would just remove default. I don't think you need it, but it's safe.
And is that yes?
I would say yes to Icecast, yeah.
Okay. And localhost.
Yep.
And,
I mean, for this purpose, you can just leave them as hackme,
okay.
or change it to whatever you want, because it's not going to be a real Airtime server.
And then the storage directory.
Yeah, I would just leave that as default unless you need something else, which you probably don't.
Admin password. I'll just leave it at that.
And yeah, and then finally you just set the admin password. I mean, the default is admin, which of course is totally insecure, especially for machines that are going to be like facing the public internet.
Yeah.
Which is why we put this setting in. So, as I mentioned, that thing where it says could not reliably determine the server's fully qualified domain name. A fully qualified domain name is like, you know, sourcefabric.org. You know, it's an address you can use on the public internet, and we don't have one for this machine, so you know, you would expect to see that error. Okay, looks like the installer's running.
Okay. And just while we're waiting for that, this is a completely unrelated question, but
Okay, go for it.
I've got a domain name, and how would I go about? I have a website, but it has a different. Yeah, how do I get them all to point in the right direction? So that
Okay, well, that's to do with the DNS system,
okay.
domain name service. So you would have your domain name registered with a certain company.
Yes.
They would have some sort of control panel, which would give you the option of pointing that domain name to a specific IP address.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you had a machine, say an Airtime server, that was you wanted to put on the public internet, you would first have to get that machine a public IP address. So this would be something you'd arrange through your internet company, and they would give you an IP address to use, much as you get a phone number when you buy a new phone.
Okay.
You know? So the thing we've been doing, like on Lucille's machine, where it was like 192.168,
Yeah.
those two numbers indicate that it's just a local number that only works on the local network. But a real IP address would start with different numbers.
Okay.
So whenever you see 192.168, it's probably just a local IP address
Okay.
that they're using on the network internally, if you like. When you go out onto the public internet, you can't use that. So, like I say, you have to get your IP address from your ISP. You then go to your control panel and point the domain name that you've registered at that IP address, and then that is propagated to all the DNS servers around the world. And then when somebody looks up, you know, Kara.com, then they know that it points to that IP address, and then your server sends a response.
Okay. Super.
I mean, the reason we do like airtime.pro as a domain name is that people don't have to go and register a new domain name each time. So you could have kara.airtime.pro.
Okay.
And that means you don't have to actually go and register a new name, because it's just a subdomain of airtime.pro. And the DNS for airtime.pro is already set up.
Ah, so and then all you need to do is go to Gandhi or whatever, and then redirect it to the airtime.cara.pro, and so you don't have to go to your internet service
Right.
provider.
Yeah, you don't need a new IP address. You don't need any of that stuff.
Excellent.
And each time we register a new server for Airtime Pro, an entry is added into our local DNS for airtime.pro. So, okay, there's a new subdomain called cara.airtime.pro, and that is then propagated around the internet because, like, there's the existing record for airtime.pro says that, oh, okay, this is going to be dealt with by a certain group of what's called content DNS servers. So, if you like, the top level is already taken care of, which is like the .pro, and then there's the next level, which is airtime.pro, and that's like our responsibility. And then we can make whatever we like in the next level, which is cara.airtime.pro or whatever. And that way, the domain name system always knows where to look.
Yeah, this is
look up
excellent.
Domain names and turn them back into IP addresses. So I see that your installation went much better this time.
Yes, much better. It looks like online. Fantastic.
Yep. If we were going to open a browser now, you go to your Firefox button over on the left there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yep.
I can check Airtime again.
So if you try just typing localhost, http://localhost into your Firefox, you should get your Airtime login page.
Woohoo!
Result. So now type in your password.
I've typed it in. It's just extra slow.
Okay, and select your language. I'm sorry to say there's no Welsh still. You know?
What? You've had... Oh my god, have you seen the time? We've had 3 hours to do this.
Yeah, we've only got English written, I'm afraid.
Okay, oh, why is that working? It's transferring data from local hosts, hopefully.
Yeah.
Waiting for local host.
Yeah. It'll get there in a couple of seconds. It's probably running a bit slowly. Because you've got all your Google stuff going on as well. That's sucking most of the CPU, like the Hangout. We should get there in a few seconds.
Oh, no. That's not...
Oh. Now that's something I can't help you with.
Let's see, I will...
Yeah, don't say it out loud. We'll know.
I had to stop myself. This one is right. By the way, the birds in the background sound so lovely.
Yeah, it sounds nice.
Yeah, I'm actually in the garden. So, I don't know if you can see that, but yeah. I'm just in the shed at the bottom of the garden.
Are you? That's
Yeah.
fantastic. Oh,
So, if I want to reinstall this, do I have to uninstall it first, or where can I
No.
do this again?
No, there is a way of reinstalling using the dev package. Let me just remember. I think it might
Like
be apt
if I want to keep reinstalling and installing different instances, can I do that as well?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, I know why it's wrong. It's because I've just put a new password into it.
Yeah. It's there's actually an option for install. I'll just pop that into the chat window now. So you have to do install and then -- reinstall, which is like an option, and then that will reinstall the package that's already there. Or you could just remove the package and reinstall it. It's, you know.
Okay, so
just
that would
by
be
doing it this
to
way.
reconfigure everything.
No. There is a different command but if you just want to reconfigure, I'll just do
What
this
is
in the chat.
this one for? Reinstall Airtime.
That's to take the package and reinstall it from like a clean version.
Mm-hmm.
So this command is sudo dpkg, which is the package system that's like the apt controls. Just stands for Debian package. Dash reconfigure, and then package name. So what that does is it doesn't reinstall, but it runs you back through the questions, like what's the name of your server, what passwords do you want, all that kind of thing.
Oh, that's really useful.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the one we tried earlier.
Yeah, we tried it earlier, didn't we? To try and fix
Right.
your problem with the misconfigured host name.